It's just so much better with him.
Or are you influenced by what others are saying?
Message of hope that God gives salvation for free.
I'm so grateful that he chose the B Squad.
Welcome to Something to Think About. This is our podcast where we take a moment to go back in our message series here at New Hope and go deeper into God's Word together. I'm Casper, and I'm joined with my friends here. I have Timothy, hello, Season, Ruben, hey. And this week we are in message number 7 of the core message series. We're talking about the foundation of faith, but today we're looking at the fine print of what it actually means to live it out, the fine print that Jesus gave us. If you haven't already, go back. You can click on this link right here on your screens or down in the description to go back and watch that sermon message from Mike. And in that message, it's called the following part of faith, where he challenges us to look at the real cost of following Jesus and how it might not be what we think. At least it wasn't that way for the disciples when they were interfacing with Jesus.
Yeah, I think us too, but we'll get into that, right?
we'll definitely get into that. First off, just want to go round table. I just actually on the drive over, I was rewatching it here. I don't know if you guys had a chance to go back in. Something that, like, your first thought as you walk away from that message, like the 100,000 foot.
I think sometimes I need to be more grateful that it's not what I think it is, following him. Because if it was up to my finite, let's face it, small mind, I would probably ruin it. And when I find out that maybe, yes, there's a cost or some sort of surrender that has to happen, I'm so grateful that in the end, it's just so much better with him.
Yeah.
It's hard, but it's amazing and beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, on that note, for me, there's just this, I like what you said, like if I do it myself, I know for me it would be more stressful, or I make it more stressful than it truly needs to be.
Yeah.
And so for me, that, like you said, that 10,000 view, the 10,000 above view, feet view, is one of like, oh, it almost brings a sense of peace in the midst of, when we give ourselves to him, it's not going to be easy, but there is this underlining peace, if you will.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
See, for me, it's been like one of those experiences when I first came to this part of the country. Before the days of GPSs or even knowing where you're going, somebody said, follow me.
Oh, that's good.
And it's staying so close behind that person that you don't get lost,
So good.
right? So, I mean, because my experience was nothing but like a total nightmare when the person is wiggling and you're like, where are you going? Slow down. But when I get to keep my eyes on the one who I'm following, then I know I can't get lost.
Yeah.
And I know I don't even need to know the way. All I need to do is just stay behind them.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I love that analogy. The person sometimes has to slow down for you to catch up behind. In this message, Mike is jumping into a story that one of Jesus' disciples named Peter kind of dictated. And so it's in the book of Mark. So Mark is writing it, but Mark's just like the kid next to Peter while he's dictating his story. Peter's telling of a time when Jesus slowed it real down. To lay it out.
Peter's my guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, see you, friend.
Yeah, let's jump into this clip here.
That's the core. And so they're going up there talking about what this looks like to follow Jesus. And while they're traveling along, Jesus asked them a question. Right? It's like, we got some time to kill. Hey guys, Jesus picked up different ideas of what people think are happening, because right at this point, Jesus and the guys have been together and been out on their missionary journeys for a couple of years now at least, right? It may even be up to 3 years, right? They've been at this a long time. And they're starting to get some traction, getting crowds to follow them every place. In fact, there's a crowd with them, we're gonna find out as they're making this trip right now. And Jesus asked the guys, hey guys, what are you hearing, right? Because you're hearing stuff that I don't always hear, right? I'm here, I'm speaking, right? I'm healing people. You guys are on the outskirts, you're kind of talking to people. Who do people say I am, right?
Who do people say I am? Why do you think Jesus is slowing down and asking this question to the disciples?
Somebody else go first.
I would hear this all the time. And for me, when I would read this passage, who does people say I am? When I was younger, I'd be like, what do you mean, Jesus? Everyone knows who you are. But obviously in that context, it was almost as he was getting them to think.
Yeah.
Who are people saying I am? And when you hear that, how does it make you feel? How does it make you think of me? Because it's almost like testing, do you really know who I am?
Mm.
Or are you influenced by what others are saying I am?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's almost like, now that I'm thinking about it, like Jesus trying to get us or them to truly have a personal understanding and belief of who Jesus is and not be swayed. Oh, what are people saying? All right, I'll just go with that. That sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah.
In other words, what I hear him saying, which I really truly agree with, is that, hey, look, is your perception of me based on what the opinion polls say? In other words, if my ratings go up and you think, oh man, this is a good investment.
Yeah.
And if my ratings go down, you're like, well, maybe it's time to consider something else to follow.
You make such a great point. It just popped in my head because Jesus knew what was coming. Jesus knew what was coming. And if we go by the ratings, if we go by what's popular, people, they're just going to bail out on him.
Yeah.
And so, if we really look into the story, they kind of did. But they come back because they truly knew who he was. They truly knew who he was.
Yeah. I wonder if inside this question here, he's almost asking, not a trick question, but like I wonder if the right answer is to answer Jesus' question with, no, but who do you say you are? There's an interesting kind of thought experiment or no, thought question I had when I heard this section, and I want to pose it to you guys. Like, what do you think the difference is between what Jesus ends up telling his disciples is following him really like versus what they at that time would have heard or thought of in following a rabbit, following a teacher, what were they expecting Jesus to be like then versus what he was actually showing up to do? Reuben.
Oh, I was hoping someone else go well, but the first thing that came to my mind is a text where, my burden is easy and my yoke is light, or if I said that correctly, my yoke is easy and burden is light, because following a teacher of that day was very stressful, was very strenuous. You had to memorize things. You almost had to be perfect. Not everybody made the cut. And so for them, maybe at the beginning, they were expecting that. Am I going to make the cut?
Yeah.
I didn't make the cut for anybody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And here comes this teacher.
Yeah.
Sure, he chose me. That feels great. But when is that exam coming where he's going to cut me and I'm not going to make it?
Yeah.
So maybe that was some of that in there too, because as we know, the teachers of the day, they were seen like, wow, almost perfection. And so to follow them, you had to be elite. You had to be the cream of the crop. And the disciples that Jesus chose at the beginning, to put it in better terms, they were not the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
They were the B squad.
Yeah, they were
Changed the face
they
of
were
the
according to
they were the DF squad almost.
Yeah.
but according to whom?
Sure,
According to them and the spiritual leaders of the day, because they had not
Yeah.
been chosen.
Yeah.
Do you know? And so self-image as well as external image. I'm so grateful that he chose the B squad, the other side, because that means that I get to be included in that too. Because who did I think he was when I got sober and came back? Affected my belief and my ability to receive the healing that he had for me. And if I did not at least hope with the last scrap of hope that I had left, that he would love me and not leave me. And like you said, the guys, they're in. They're like, oh, we got chosen. Okay, this is cool. When's he gonna see the real me and kick me out? It's not like Jesus, even though we feel like he's going to, because that's what happens in our human relationships. He doesn't say, I'm in until you did that. Yeah. So we're expecting to lose favor when we couldn't curry favor in the first place.
That's my baggage.
Yes.
qualify or disqualify me from being on Discord,
Yeah, it's like I'm holding my breath.
right?
And I find myself today still holding my breath sometimes, like,
And the day he finds out, he hasn't found out who the real me is, but the day he finds out is that the day that I'm going to be gone.
yeah.
You know, really quickly, and maybe it doesn't have to do with the depths of what we're talking about, but I tend to think of the flip side of those. The ones that did make the cut, they also may have had that feeling of, when is this teacher going to cut me? But they were able to keep a sense of perfection because there was certain things you had to do.
Yeah. That
You can memorize this, the performance. There was a performance behind their acceptance, whereas Jesus did away with that and said, there's no performance here. There, in fact, I don't want your performance. Jesus said, it was like, and that's what was so opposite about Jesus' teaching, where these other men that made the cut to follow these teachers, there was a performance. I memorized this. I can repeat what my teacher teaches me. And Jesus flipped the script,
Yeah.
which is just,
hard.
it's hard and it's just difficult to understand. So, yeah.
He does it to all of us too. And it says that this is salvation, that they may know you. And you see his disciples, the B squad, the rejected kids, right? They were getting to know Jesus.
Yeah.
Some of the other folks, myself included at times, so this isn't a they them thing, it's a us. We think it's about how well we perform for him. And
Yeah.
he's like, I wish you'd stop.
Yeah.
Is there an outside showing of an internal change? Yes. Yes. But I could also put that on.
Yeah.
And so it's like, is that internal change, is my following him coming from a place of regeneration where I'm resting in him and following? Or is it, and I think it's a mixed bag for all of us probably,
Yeah.
you know, we're learning. But I think it can be really hard for anybody to realize how simple but not easy it is to be in Christ, because we want to perform. And so often we feel like there's so much I have to give up to do this. And maybe I haven't given an awesome example to those that I know about what you gain.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Just as we were talking here, I was reminded. So back in the message, Jesus was going through this story in Mark and in chapter 8. And you had mentioned how, Mike started off saying all these people are falling. And then going in, Jesus talks about in this story in Mark, he starts to break down this perception versus reality. Like, here's who I say I am. Here's what is going to happen versus what you guys are building me up to be, this perfect leader, he is a perfect leader, but like this what the religious leaders of that day thought was perfection. Also, some of the mission of that day was to kind of overthrow the political establishment or to regain power. Or it was a very like,
It's noise for
territorial.
Jesus. He's like, I'm signal.
Yeah.
This is noise.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I'm here for. And they're like, noise, 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 noise.
Yeah. And so I was just remembering, so down here in Mark 8, 31, 33, I'm just going to read it just because like it's this moment where Jesus kind of gets them to slow down. You're starting to take that exit. No, follow me through this. And Jesus begins to tell them, I'm in Mark 8, 31 to 33. Jesus began to tell them that the Son of Man must suffer many terrible things and be rejected by the elders, the leading priests, the teachers of the religious law. He would be killed, but 3 days later would rise from the dead, Jesus is saying. As he talked about this openly with his disciples, Peter took him aside and began to reprimand him. So going back to the question, like, who do you say I am? Jesus was almost like, wait for me to say.
Yeah.
Peter's jumping in, reprimanding, saying, no, Jesus, this is not right. You're supposed to be what we've grown up with.
And he's like, urge.
He even uses this phrase, get away from me, Satan. Like the harshest language that I think I've seen Jesus use here. You're seeing things merely from a human point of view, not from God's.
Yeah.
Yeah, Season.
I think, and just, having the chance to take a look at the clips, I think this plays into clip number 2 really, really well. And I think that God's perspective isn't always about our comfort or our affirmation after we thought we were saying some really good stuff, like Peter was like, I know Jesus, but what about this? And he was like, nope. But less about comfort, more about surrender,
Yeah. Let's play that.
Yeah.
Let's play clip 2.
What good, Jesus asked the group, the whole crowd. What good? What's the benefit? What's the profit? What's the gain if you gain the whole world, but at the end of all, you lose, you forfeit your souls? I mean, let's just imagine for a moment. Let's imagine that we got everything we could ever want. Right? We got the great job. We got the great person in our lives. If you think kids are great, you got kids. If you don't, you got no kids. Well, the perfect life for whatever you are, right? You got the dream job, or maybe you made such great investments, you don't have a job any longer. And you got, not just the great house, but you got the great houses and the great cars. And, you hang out with all the great people. Everything is just great. Everything is perfect, as perfect as can be. Nobody ever says no to you. You don't even have to say no to you because everything is just there for you. And you think, man, I've got it made. And then that moment comes when the end of your life comes. And you recognize that none of that stuff is going to go with you, and none of that stuff has protected you from what's happening, the loss you're experiencing. That you can't save your life at that moment. All you're going to do is lose it.
Has there been a time in your life where you've come across something that hasn't been as fulfilling as you thought? Timothy?
Well, how about you have a dream, and that dream is, hey, I'd like to have a house, a bigger house, a newer house. And then after a while, you're like, oh, and then you have the opportunity to have that newer house. And you're like, oh, this is it? This is it? Oh, there's got to be more. I thought this would do that. No, it wouldn't, because things cannot.
Yeah.
On that note, because I was thinking of that too, like the big purchases, house, car. But we live in a day and age where you can go along with things. You can buy things on your phone. You can, there's some, I'm feeling down right now, and then all of a sudden you buy something, or you see something that you didn't even know existed. You're like, I gotta have it, and that comes to your mind, and then you purchase it, and it arrives, and then that feeling just is gone. And you thought this was going to be the fulfilling moment because I saw it and I got excited about it and I purchased it. And now it's in my closet, just there.
Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, whoop-de-doo. What am I going to do with this? I'm going to pull it out and show my friends when they come over. Look what I bought on a whim.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of like that where I feel like society now, we're constantly trying to find what can fill that empty void. And
searching for meaning. Yeah,
we're searching for that meaning. And maybe we don't think about it that deep. Hey, I saw this shirt that's really cool. I thought it felt cool when I bought it, and then I got it, and it's just hanging in my closet now or something like that. But like maybe a house is a little bit bigger, but there is this void. And how do I fill it? And kind of like saying, are we trying to fill it with things? Are we trying to fill it? And then when we do that, it's not what we thought it was going to be.
Very much.
It's not what we thought, oh, it's going to fulfill my everyday, and it's just not. And so how do we get back to that? And I think we get into this vicious cycle of like, we feel low, buy something. We feel low, I'll do this. We feel low, do this. And it's almost like God's telling us, man, you are missing the mark every time. Hey, you can have those things, that's great, but don't replace it with what I can give you.
Yeah, because we'll go to anything sometimes to find the relief we're looking for that's not Jesus.
Yeah.
Do you know? And that can go from gossip and manipulation, control. It can go to shopping all the way into crazy time like I had with all the drugs and stuff. It can be something so slight and also something so devastating. It's a full gamut, but the similarity between all of those things is that what am I running to? It's the thing that I'm running to that's not Christ. Okay, it's okay for me to like chill out and have comfort, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But
before you jump to that, Ruben, you're saying, Season, running to Jesus, finding it in Jesus. What unpack that for me a little.
The it, is that what you mean? Like unpack the it?
Yeah.
For example, if I find myself in a situation, this is a big one, so I was trying to get at some more subtle things, but when my son was born, we went through IVF. They call them fresh cycles, frozen cycles, all the things. We stewarded the embryos well according to our beliefs, so don't come at me. There was so much involved, and I'm not the poster child. There are people who have gone through more than me. But then Gideon was born with a birth injury, and I was like, really, Jesus? There was definitely some anger and some trauma, mostly for his sweetheart,
Yeah.
But Mama went through it too.
Yeah.
And I was so angry. I never turned away from Jesus during this time, but I didn't know how to come to him with this in a way that was going to make me feel better. Does that make sense? And so I would hide in my anger and taking it to him. I can take it to him over and over, and I still do sometimes. But the feelings don't follow immediately for every scenario. And so sometimes taking it is letting it sit and be painful. I like to hide from pain. Most of us do, but I was a huge escapist. That's where the drugs and the alcohol came in. So
Yeah.
let me circle back. Your question was, what do I mean taking it to Jesus? So I go to him. I allow him to be the place where I dump it all out, where I sob, I cry, I get angry. He knows that I was vehemently angry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was not a surprise to him. It is not disrespectful to him to tell him how angry I am. He already knows. Giving it all, whatever it is. Jesus, I'm really feeling insecure in my friendships. I find myself wanting to control something or maneuver so that I can feel safe. Jesus, I don't want to behave that way. I don't want to be tricky, Lord. I remember saying that to him because you get sober, then you got all kinds of yuck that he wants to clean out. And I would say, Jesus, it was a new group of girlfriends, and I would say, Jesus, I don't want to be tricky. I wasn't trying to be deceitful or devious or wicked or evil or any of those things, but those normal patterns that I would have for self-protection that nobody else wants to admit they have. But here I am, right?
We all have.
We all have it.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be tricky. I just wanted it to be clean and open and kind. And I had to confess I didn't know how to do it because I didn't know I knew what I didn't want to do anymore, but I didn't know how to do the other. And I had to take that to Jesus, trusting that he's going to guide me. Right? I know it's probably a 6 layers different or deeper than where we were headed with it originally, but it's the reality. We take it to Jesus, our grocery bill.
Yeah.
We take our gossip, we take our friendships, we take our fears, our pain, and we lay them there, and we try to stop picking them back up.
You mentioned like some layers there, but I think the top layer, if you want to call it, we all kind of are involved in that. When you started asking that question, what is it? Yeah, we bring, we hear a lot in church, bring your burden to Christ and he can handle it for sure.
What does that look like?
What does that look like? But then there's also sometimes, and this may flip the script, and I think about it a little bit, the burden of my joy, meaning we're all searching for something, and usually it's joy or happiness, and we find it in different things. Like you've talked a lot about your testimony, and a lot of times that's very out there, but we all have that same
we've all
search.
got stuff.
We've all got that stuff that we want to have, and so what I thought about a lot of times is we can find it in things, drugs, alcohol, but a lot of times we kind of try to find it in people. And as a dad, there are times that I say, oh, my joy should come from my kids. And then I realize, wait a second, that is a huge burden
On them.
to put on my children. But that is seen as acceptable, you know, and especially in my Latino community. I don't know about anybody else in their community, but my children should bring me my joy. And then I'm like, wait a second, how big of a burden am I putting on my children that if I'm unhappy, it's their fault?
Make daddy feel better.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. But it happens. A lot of us.
So when you say it, I can bring my need for joy and happiness to Jesus, to Christ. And he can say, I got you.
Yeah.
And then
and
when
then-
they bring you joy, it's a gift on top of an
Sure.
already satisfied whole person.
But now I'm bringing this sense of stability
Yeah.
to my family
Yeah.
because I'm not expecting even my spouse. I'm not expecting her to bring to constantly be that joy. So it's like this thing where we can talk about it. Sorry to take so much time. We can talk about it being the burden, or I need to bring my deep thoughts and fears to Christ, and you can. But sometimes we forget the flip side of that, where it's seen as acceptable, but the joy and the happiness that we seek, and we place it on somewhere else, put it on Christ.
But they can't be Jesus for us.
Exactly. But sometimes we try to make them.
They
that way.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know, that fits quite well with the first question that Jesus asked him, who do the people say I am?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then later on he said, but who do you say I am? In other words,
Yeah.
who am I to you?
Yeah.
Who am I to you? Then helps them to unpack, do I find the reason I'm coming to you? Am I coming to you because I have things on my own that I need to gain, and if those don't get fulfilled, I'm going to bail? Or are there other expectations of you that's what brings me here?
Yeah.
And is my total security in who you are to me? And that's huge.
And if it's not, he's okay,
Yeah.
right? He's okay with that. He said, Lord, I know I'm supposed to trust you, but I don't. Will you help me with that?
Yeah.
And he's like, I just imagine him like living water going, thank you. Thank you. The honesty, the openness. He's not demanding perfection from me when I don't know how to do it right. He's demanding, not even demanding, he's inviting me into honesty
Yeah.
without shame or condemnation, Romans
Yeah.
8:1. It's beautiful
Yeah.
if I can get over what I expect him to be upset with me about. Well, I know I'm supposed to trust him, and tell him it's okay.
Yeah.
We forget that. It's really, it's okay.
He's not embarrassed.
Yeah, and he's not mad at you.
It's interesting in this story here in Mark, Jesus and the disciples, they're going through these finer points, the finer print, as Mike kind of put it, of following, like the actual tangible, like real life. How does this work? How do people say this works? How do you say this works? Here's how. I'm watching us go around here, and we're talking about maybe at home you're starting to have these questions and these conversations. And by the way, jump in the comments. We'd love to
we wanna
chat,
hear from
hear
you.
your story as well on these questions. It's interesting. So our last clip here, Mike kind of talks to something that I'm hearing as a theme here, which is we have this beautiful message of hope that God gives salvation for free. But in life, we go through difficulties. The following can be rough. Let's watch this.
Christian teachings, which is simply that salvation is free, right? That it cost us nothing. That you can't do enough, you can't, be good enough, you can't, go ask people for forgiveness and restore people enough. You can't do all that stuff to earn this. That it is free, that God loved us enough to give us a free way in with him. And it cost us nothing. But following Jesus is eventually going to cost us something. And what that something is, I don't know. And you may not even know at this moment. But my experience has been that there'll be those moments in all of our lives when we're having to make a choice and it seems like a moral imperative in our life. It's like, I need to make this decision. And maybe nobody else will make this decision, but I need to make this decision. I need to follow through with this. I need to sort of take this step because not only is this the right thing to do, this is the thing I need to do. And I know there's going to be a cost to it. I could lose my job. I could lose this relationship. I could lose my friends. But it's the thing I need to do in this moment. And when you get there, I think Jesus would say, don't worry about it ahead of time. When you get there, you're going to know it. And it's that moment when it costs you something, you'll recognize that I really have been following Jesus.
What does it look like? I want to bring this into a tangible application this week. And Mike talked about, sometimes that moment is going to come. That moment might be now. It might be in the future. For us, as we're following, what does it look like this week to be in that position, that posture, that connection?
Surrender.
I guess surrender is a word that I don't really use in my daily language, but
Yeah.
What does that look like this week to follow? Because it's something deep down inside. Mm-hmm. And that this week it might be all gravy. Next week it might not be. But what does it look like to walk day by day this week, whether or not it's gravy, whether or not it's easy?
I think that's exactly it for me, the whether or not it's easy. I'm all in with Jesus in the ways that I know how now. Next month, he'll probably show me ways where I thought I was all in, but I wasn't, right? Just the reality of growth in relationship. But this week, there is something I feel bubbling up in me as a request from him to even further subvert my comfort.
Subvert my comfort.
Move it aside and not make it the most important thing in very tangible ways. There are times and getting up earlier than I normally do early.
Okay.
Just as a practical thing. Because what I feel like he's asking me to achieve in the job that I have, in the life that I have with my son and my husband, is to a point where there has to be a shift, or I have to take myself seriously. Does that make sense? In Christ. Okay. And able to accomplish the things that I feel that he's calling me to do. I have not always had that strong of a sense of purpose. I have followed him.
Right.
But I feel something changing. And I do not mean to sound high and lofty in any way.
Yeah.
There is none of that. I am always amazed at where I am and certain I'm going to ruin it somehow. But God is good to me.
Yeah.
What I mean is, entirely at this concept, to just completely push my comfort aside, knowing that in every way where my flesh might fight against it, my mindsets, my attitude problem, all of it has to come into alignment, because that's the cost for getting to see and do and watch him do amazing things in the lives of other people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Am I being too vague or strange? No. The work I do is in ministry, and there's layers, and I know that in order to serve my son and my husband well, as my first ministry, alongside the other things that he's asking me to do with my work, there has to be There's
You
a
have
leveling.
choice. You have a choice.
I have a
You're feeling a
choice.
deeper choice.
And I'm going to choose Jesus and what I feel that he's calling me to do because I want to follow him. And I don't know if somebody else needs to know that or hear that. Maybe they don't know Jesus at all and they're trying to figure out if they want to choose.
Okay.
It's not always this hard. Jesus is putting me in like
Yeah.
the funky doctorate level stuff right now where he's like, you listen, lady, do the thing. And I'm like, yes, Lord.
He's giving you your next
My
level.
stuff, yes. But that's how I'm going to follow him today. And I don't know,
Yeah.
when I got sober, it was brushing my teeth and taking a shower and eating 3 meals. That was excellence for me at that time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anywhere between remembering to eat and take a shower all the way up to figuring out the Dr. Adelogby over here. Do you know what I mean? Like you serve in ways that are excellent that I couldn't comprehend. And so do you, Ruben, and so do you. Like all of us have our layers. So it's not about comparison in any way.
Yeah.
It's just about what's that look like for me?
Yeah.
And what's that look
What's
like for
your
you?
next step?
What's your next step?
Yeah.
Closer to Jesus? That's my hope for us.
See, I like the word closer to Jesus.
Yeah.
Because for me, I'm thinking it in my mind. I'm looking like it like this in my mind. When I first agreed that I will follow him, he said, "Yep, you're gonna follow me." Yes. Well, here's what it is. You got to stick with me. It doesn't matter where we go. Just stay with me. Don't let anything else in between you and I. And then he's going, and I'm like, "Oh, Jesus. Oh, I don't like the neighborhood you're taking me through. This is I
road is
I don't like to go there." And he's like,
Yeah.
Is there another
"Stick
way?
with me."
Yeah.
I
Just-
didn't bring those shoes.
yeah, I don't want to go that, but stick with me. You said you're gonna follow me. Stay with me.
Yeah.
And then the road gets rougher and rougher, and like, gotta follow me. Yes, stick with me. Don't let anything else get between you and I. Stick with me no matter what. And sticking with him no matter what is like Susan said a little while ago, making sure that I make sure that he isn't static, that I can hear him directly. Stick to the signal.
Yeah.
Ignore the static. And the static can come in many different ways. Stick with him.
Ruben.
I really like what I'm hearing, but I like we've been saying, it's for you, for me. What is it? And the word that kept coming into my mind was sit.
Ooh.
And that sounds almost counterproductive, but because that's the way my mind is wired, I am one that always has to have some sort of control of a situation. I always have to try to figure out the endless, unlimited situations or what could happen. And for me, being in a personal life valley, if you will, of unknowing is very difficult for me because it's almost as if God is saying, you have no control. And that is very difficult for me. And so it's almost like God is saying, even in this moment where you have no control, I'm trying to devise ways so that I can have control of something. And God takes it away.
That's
Or
really
it-
honest. Thank you.
Or it goes away. And I say, wait a second. I was starting to figure out all the various possibilities of what could happen.
Yeah.
And now that's not even an option.
Yeah.
And and this has been months where I've just had to sit there and just sit and say, and it feels very uncomfortable because I am supposed to be making moves, making actions. It doesn't feel responsible. This is what I tell my wife. Me sitting here, either literally or mentally, does not feel responsible. It's not, I'm supposed to be hustling and making moves and connections and doing all these things. And
God's like,
and
holding pattern.
Yes, and God is saying,
Circle the airport.
sit. And it makes me very anxious. And that's, I think, what God is working on. So to answer your question, what does it mean for me personally? It means to sit. And when I've done that, it's like this underneath of trust starts to grow. But I'll tell you what, it's one step forward, 2 steps back, because the trust grows, but then all of a sudden those thoughts creep in.
Yeah.
Those thoughts creep in, and I have to have this just venting of like, what is happening? What is going on? And that's the 2 steps back.
Yeah.
But then once I let that all out, it's as if God is saying, look around. You're still here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'll sit. And reluctantly I sit. but it's just like I'm like my son that I'm just holding on. Like, oh, when can you tell me to get up? Come on, let's do something.
Put me in, coach.
Yeah, put me in. Let's do something. Yeah. And what's even more difficult is when it seems like God is putting everyone else in. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh,
like
it's so
God,
hard.
God is putting. Why'd you put that person in? And why is that person getting this? And why is that person getting
When
this?
is it going to be my turn?
Yeah, when is it going to be my turn?
Yeah.
Little older brother in there. Huh?
Yeah, and so it's just kind of like, okay,
It's hard.
it's hard. It's difficult. So to go again back to your question, for me, it's, and hopefully this resonates with someone, it's sit. Just sit and trust. And whoever's listening, if they're like, yeah, I hear you, I'm with you. It's hard, but just sit.
I keep hearing be still.
Yes.
Being still.
Right? So you can sit and you can sit in rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's hard for me too. Yeah, no criticism, man. None whatsoever. But be still. Like,
Oof. A lot to talk about today. I hope I know I've had something to think about here with you all. I want to thank you. Thank you for the stories, for the stories, for the analogies.
so good.
Just that vivid picture. I can remember as a kid, driving the car behind my dad. It's just follow, just follow. There's times in my life I've been there, and you're just, there's nothing but to park. There's times where you reflect back, and then that motivates you to the next hard thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
sure.
I know busy. Do you know? I know doing the thing.
I don't know where you're at, wherever you're watching, whenever you're watching from, but it is something to think about. What is the next step that God is asking you to this week? That's something to think about for all of us. Next episode, we're going to be on part 8. We're going to wrap up this core message series. Hit that subscribe. If you're watching at this point, I just want to thank you for coming along the journey with us. Hit the subscribe button. Help us out there, would you, on that? Maybe even give a thumbs out to help spread this out to more people. Reach out to us in the comments, though, and reach out to each other. We're a community together. And we're watching the comments. We're watching the section. You can even DM us on our socials here at New Hope. We want to be there for you on your journey, wherever you're watching from. Until next time, go in God's peace.